family getting used to that. Summer in the southern plains. I noticed that you've made reference, with amongst other things, in your interview with Jeff Mullen, an excellent interview that appeared last Sunday in the Enid News and Eagle. One of the major changes, you can be told that we are a windy area, but till you get boots on the ground here, that's something, huh?
Yes, it is. And we are not unfamiliar with wind family, because we had done 2 years at Keflavik, Iceland, where the wind always blows also. But they don't have a famous Rodgers and Hammerstein song about Iceland, and it wasn't until I got here till I really realized that the word wind is in the song twice. And there's a reason for that. I think the writers had actually spent some time out here. Yesterday was a classic example. You know, after the dry line passed and the winds turned from the west, they were 52 miles an hour blowing out of the west right there.
We were talking about that, you know, while the rest of the state experienced. We seem to have dodged the bullet until after the storms. It was late on that Monday afternoon and that Monday evening that the dry line came through, and for well over an hour, I'd heard planes in the air earlier, prior to when the major outbreak began. But then even after the dry line started to push through, there was just too much wind for well over an hour through the late afternoon into the twilight time that kind of took away flying again.
Absolutely. Well, because we knew the environmental conditions were perfect, what we did is we curtailed our flying because pretty high threat. Tried to hangar as many as you can to avoid any hail, you know what I'm saying, and then put the covers, the hail covers on the T-38s. But even if after the dry line passed on Monday, if we had had the opportunity to go fly, we couldn't have, because it was a 50-knot crosswind, and that exceeds all the limits. The T-38 is our highest. It's got a 30-knot crosswind limit, but that exceeds all the limits, so it just wouldn't have been safe.
And it's just one of the challenges when trying to run a command out of the Oklahoma area. Although we do get, you know, a very significant, a large number of good weather days, assuming that the wind's not a factor. That if you know, if we meet the wind qualifications, winter, summer, fall, and spring have an opportunity to put planes in the air on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The advantage of, we consider Vance, AETCs, we like to tout this as we're the northern tier. The northern tier at where we are. And the bottom line is, the weather is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because guess what? When you graduate a pilot out of Vance Air Force Base, they understand how to fly in the weather. We had 84 days flying days last year where the wind exceeded 15 knots of crosswind. So they're going to know how to land in crosswinds. They're going to know how to fly in weather. They're going to understand what icing is. They're going to understand how to fly in the meteorological conditions and navigate through those and be able to maneuver their aircraft, which is for the Air Force a very good thing, because you want to train the best quality pilot you can. Now, from the production side, just from the production side, it presents a challenge because we came out of the winter. For instance, we came out in March. We were 10 days behind on the timeline in March. But you know what? Through a lot of hard work through our instructors, a lot of hard work through our contractor providing airplanes, a lot of support from everyone on the base, we're back on the timeline now. So no difference at all. So for everybody else, it appears that it's ops normal.
All right.